Alrighty, hey guys, today I am here with my June TBR. So hey guys, today I'm going to talk about some June releases, my June TBR, which includes the 2 possibly more readathons that I want to participate in because school's finishing this month and I'm acting crazy. I'm going to talk about my releases first. So, there are a couple of really good books coming out this month that I've actually already seen on the shelves, and it killed me not to buy them because I was in Barnes & Noble yesterday and they already had 2 of these out and they still don't come out until tomorrow, and I was so tempted, but I didn't. I was good. One of which is Charlie Presumed Dead by Anne Hetzel, and this book is a really interesting concept. It's about a guy named Charlie who dies, and his girlfriend shows up to his funeral thinking, I'm distraught, my boyfriend just died, I was in love with him, and when she shows up she discovers that there is another girl there who was thinking the exact same thing because he was dating both of them. And as the title says, presumed dead, so I assume there's some sort of toss-up with like whether he's actually dead or not, and I don't know how they discover that, but they go on some sort of journey together and kind of bond over the fact that they both loved this guy, and it just sounds really interesting, kind of adventure-y, kind of like self-discovery and mysterious, and it just sounds really fun, and the cover is really gorgeous, so I'm really excited for this one. And like I just mentioned, it comes out on June 2nd, which is tomorrow. And then the other one that they already had on the shelves was Because You'll Never Meet Me by Leah Thomas. And this was a really interesting concept to me. Again, the cover is gorgeous, but what it's about 2 boys, one's named Ollie and the other is named Moritz. And they're best friends through letters. They're like pen pals because they can't ever meet each other, and I have to keep straight which is which. Because Ollie is allergic to electricity, and so like there's probably a couple of cases that you might have heard about, I don't know, but like it causes him to have seizures and stuff to be around electricity, and Moritz has a pacemaker that he will die without. So they literally cannot ever meet each other because it would be potentially fatal for one or both of them. And so they form a really important bond through letters, and going through high school and stuff, they just kind of, I guess, grow within the letters. And I'm not sure how the book is written. I don't know if it's all in letter format because that would be really cool, but just the concept gets me really interested. And this one also comes out on June the 2nd. Okay, the next one is Hello, I Love You by Katie M. Stout, and this is another really interesting concept. It's contemporary romance, which I don't read a lot of. I don't read enough of because I do really enjoy the ones I read. I just kind of never find myself reaching for my contemporary shelf. It's always going right here to the fantasy shelf. But it is about a young girl who I don't know the name of, and I have an obsession with saying about, apparently, and her whole family has kind of been torn apart by the music industry. Like her dad was either a producer or a songwriter or singer, something like that, and it kind of, through various ways, the music industry has torn apart her family, and so she moves to Korea to a boarding school to try to get away from that, and she tells herself, I'm never dealing with that again, my life is gonna be normal, and my family will stay together. And she becomes friends with the girl whose brother ends up being a really famous K-pop star that she falls in love with. And that just sounds so awesome, and can it be my life, please? I've also heard it compared to Anne and the French Kiss, but except for Paris, it's Korea, and that one comes out on June the 9th. And the last one that I have to mention is The Leveler by Julie Durango. This comes out on June 23rd, and it's another very interesting concept. It's kind of weird, but it reminds me of one of the Spy Kids movies, either the 3rd or the 4th, where she has to go into the video game. But it's because The Leveler is about a girl named Nixie, I think, and she is essentially a bounty hunter. And what she does is she goes into this virtual reality world and retrieves these kids for their parents, and their parents pay her to do so because they just kind of get lost in the game and they go waste time in there and their parents need them back, so she goes and finds them. And then she gets an assignment that's not really average. It's by the creator of the game, and he wants her to go find his son, and the whole circumstance is a little bit muddled because he isn't there by choice. He was kidnapped within the game and forced to go hide in there. So it's a lot of like mystery plus sci-fi plus gaming plus awesomeness, and it just sounds really, really interesting, and I really, really, really want it like now. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about the readathons and my TBR, and so I can't decide what to talk about first because they're both like really intertwined. I'm just gonna go with the readathons first. I almost said TBR. Okay, the first readathon I want to participate in is called #TBR Takedown, and it was created by Leaning Lights. And there's a series of 5 challenges going on throughout this readathon, which is June 1st through the 7th. I get out of school on the 4th. Reading will happen. I just had my last full day of school and I have half days for the rest of the week. It's a blessing. But yeah, so there's 5 different challenges which I'm going to meet, and I'm kind of trying to incorporate like what I had already planned as my TBR within the TBR for the readathon, and I'm doing the 2 readathons I'm currently wanting to do are overlapping, so I'm gonna be doing a lot of reading, but it's summer break, so it's gonna be like reading explosion as soon as I get out, or at least that's what I'm hoping for. First challenge is a book that's been on your shelf / TBR pile for over a year. For this one I'm going with White Cat by Holly Black. I've had this book so long I don't even remember where I got it from, which is really strange for me. So I really don't know much about the series, especially since they're not printed in these covers anymore. I know there's different covers, which really sucks, but I've heard it's kind of good, and Holly Black is really cool. I enjoyed the Spiderwick Chronicles and The Darkest Part of the Forest, which I read much more recently, and so I'm really excited to get into this one, especially since it's short and my reading load will be really, really heavy this week. Second challenge is an unread sequel that's sitting on your shelf. For this one, I'm going with Unholy by Neal Shusterman. This is the second book in the Unwind dystology. I read Unwind last year and really, really enjoyed it, so it's kind of odd that I haven't read this one yet. I've just had so many other things going on that it's just gotten skipped over, and that's not gonna happen this time. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna read it, so this one. Okay, I should have mentioned this one earlier. The third challenge is a book that's the first book in a series that's on your shelf, and for this one I'm gonna reuse White Cat by Holly Black because this is the first book in the Curse Workers trilogy. Number 4 is an out of your comfort zone book on your TBR shelf. For this one I'm gonna go with Finding Paris by Joy Preble. Like I said earlier, I don't typically reach for the contemporary shelf, so this one's contemporary, so it counts, and I really, really, really need to read and review this one, so this is gonna happen. Number 5 is a book from your most recent haul. This one I'm going with the ever so gorgeous OCD Love Story by Corey Ann Haidu. That's probably horribly wrong. I'm so sorry. But I actually just bought this a couple of days ago at Half Price Books because my mother is awesome and took me there just because. And I have literally never heard a thing about this book. I totally bought it because of the cover. It is so beautiful. Words can't even express it. This is a gorgeous book. It's honestly, all my excitement for this book, which is a lot, is built on the fact that this cover is one of the most gorgeous I've ever seen, and oh my god, I love it. Looking at it makes me happy. So I'm really, really, really excited to read this one and hopefully love it. Hopefully. And the second readathon that I want to participate in this month, like I mentioned, it's overlapping. It is the #A-yearathon. This month's theme is finishing things, finishing like series or catching up on series, and I have a couple that I'm thinking about. I mentioned Unholy earlier, which will count for this, I hope. For this one and probably a couple of others that I'm going to mention, I'm just going to start this one and I don't think I'm going to be able to finish it, but just start it, at least. It's going to be City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare. No, I have not read this one yet. No, I don't own City of Heavenly Fire yet. It possibly will happen this summer, but I'm not sure. But this book has been on my shelf for way too long, so hopefully I'll at least start this one, which will give me more motivation to eventually finish it. At least that's the theory. I also want to start Pretties by Scott Westerfeld and Lyrial by Garth Nix, 2 second books in series. Okay, so that is all for my read-along TBRs, but I do have a couple of other books that I'd like to read throughout the month, especially ones that I meant to read last month, but that I didn't quite get to because I happened to start marathoning a series that I hadn't planned on enjoying as much as I did. Cough, Vampire Academy, cough, cough. The books I am speaking of being An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir and Control by Lydia King. Those are the only 2 other books I have planned for the month. I like keeping my TBR a bit open, but since I did mention that these two readathons may not be the only readathons I participate in this month, since it is the first month of summer break, and I'm sure I'll participate in tons throughout the summer, hopefully including Booktubeathon. That means that I might also have some other TBR videos posted throughout the month for different readathons, so you can get a peek at what I'm reading there. Also on my Instagram or Tumblr, I have in my bios, which I try to keep updated, what I'm currently reading, or you can check out my Goodreads. All of those will be linked down below. Speaking of my Tumblr, I recently made a picture post thingy that I'll put somewhere on the screen that has a couple of extra books and release dates that are coming out in June that I'm excited for, and if you go to my Tumblr, it'll be the post and it has the picture and the links below of all the books and release dates and things like that. So yeah, you can check that out. That's really fun. Now, a big kind of announcement thingy that I wanted to do was that I don't think I'm paying enough attention to this channel, however much I do enjoy making these videos, filming them, editing them, talking about books, hanging out with you guys. I kind of slack a lot throughout the year. So my goal for June, crazy goals, I'm not a goals person, I should be, is to film a video, edit, and upload it 1 per day all month. The only issue I'm gonna run into this is obviously myself and being lazy, but also I'm traveling a couple of times throughout the month, so I think I'm gonna have to pre-upload and like schedule drop or whatever, however you can do that on YouTube. I know you can. A couple of videos like throughout the month, and if this gets going well, I might try to do it throughout the summer because it'll just be a good bulk up to my channel sort of moment thing, and I think that would be a really fun thing to do. So I'm gonna head off because it's already almost midnight and I still have a couple minutes of this video to edit, so I'm gonna finish this up and go do that, upload it, and go to sleep because I have a final tomorrow. By the way, I'm in love with my nails. They're Gryffindor or Iron Man, I can't decide. I'm actually Ravenclaw, but yeah, I enjoy them. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Check out all my links down below as well as links to all the books that I mentioned. And until next time, keep reading.